there you go. Obi. But I don't think Obi can win. For Obi to win that election, Obi will need minimum of 30 billion naira. 30 billion naira. What is Obi going to do with 30 billion? Let me explain to you. Obi will need party agents in all the units. In Ekiti alone, we have 2,000 plus units. In Osun alone, we have 4,000 plus units. Now imagine, now total it's 36 states, including FCT. That is going to be about 150,000 party agents. He's going to need another one each person there as a canvasser, camera person to man your polling unit for you. So Obi will need to pay all those people about 350,000 on election day, 10K. So you do your maths. Remember, there is poverty in the land, so no vote for free. You have to support them to get there. God bless Obi. God bless Nigeria.
All right, so now according to the Africa report, ahead of the 2023 elections, major political parties in Nigeria sold their presidential forms at very high prices that could only be afforded by wealthy individuals like the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar or the Lagos Godfather Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, how much does it cost to win a presidential election in Africa's largest nation? Guesses vary widely. Some estimates reaching as high as $2 billion. Now, with the 2023 elections expected to be keenly contested, the stakes will be really high, and so we will be spending, a lot of money. Now, based on Isaac Fayoshi's analysis and the number of people that Peter Obi would need to employ for his campaign or monitoring process like he claimed, we are asking, does Peter Obi really need that 30 billion to win the presidential election? He mentioned a caveat. He said a minimum of 30 billion, right? That's the question for tonight. Does he need the 30 billion or 35 billion or whatever it is? Please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. You can also tweet at us at WayShowAfrica1 with the hashtag WayShow. Now, this conversation is quite interesting because, you see, it's one thing I remember Milola saying that if she had counted the costs before going into running for the office of the House of Representatives, she probably would have, hesitated. She would not have taken, that quick step to jump into the race, because we all know that politics is expensive. So I like that a lot of people, and if you listen to Isaac Fayoshi's video, he kept on saying, everywhere you go, and that's the truth. Everywhere you go, I'm an obedient. But now, as we draw close to the elections, the reality is hitting of what it takes to run a presidential election in Nigeria, right? So I am wondering, right, first of all, when you saw that video, or maybe, in your mind, do you think that elections should cost that much in Nigeria? Like running for a presidential election, do you think it costs that much in Nigeria?
Everywhere.
Do you agree?
Do I think?
Do you know?
Oh, well, that's true.
Those
you
are
have
two
a
different
personal...
conversations entirely. And why is everybody keeping my...
I'm waiting for you.
For one thing that running for office did for me is enlighten me significantly. A lot of us have an illusion of knowledge. We do not know, and we think that we know. Election is not for children. And peradventure, I'm grateful I was relatively ignorant and maybe intelligently ignorant. It is one thing to not know, it's another thing to pretend to not know. I had an understanding that it would be expensive, but like we talked about behind the scene, if I knew how much fund was required, I probably would not do it. And for me, there's a part of faith, there's a part of boldness, there's the desire to just push yourself beyond your frontiers. Should election cost that much? Yes, I do not think. I know it cost much more than 30 billion naira that young man estimated. Considering the state of the economy, considering how desperate people... Did you not see how much of funds were expended during primaries? That's an inkling into what we're talking about. And now we're talking about general election. It starts from the polling units, from the polling booths. That's the smallest unit that controls election. And trust me, people man polling booths. Currently, what we're doing in our own party, in our own group, is to start to register more people. And what do? They register you, they secure your card. You can't keep it. It's until election day before you get access to it.
Why is that?
Please, that is not the conversation for now. The fact is, election is very, very expensive. And it is not just in Nigeria, for one. It is very expensive across.
Okay.
But Nigeria's peculiarity makes it even much more expensive than it should. Now, naturally, you're not supposed to fund your election yourself. This is where there's a bit of a difference, why there's a huge drive over godfatherism, somebody taking away your candidacy
burden, yeah.
or your government from your coffers because they bankrolled you. In an ideal system, you're supposed to crowd fund an election, because really, you're not supposed to fund your election independently. So yes, it would actually cost much more than 30 billion naira.
Okay. Let me hear your thoughts.
Well, I would say that maybe from even TV series alone, for instance, House of Cards, you can tell that it is the same everywhere in the world. All elections cost money. All elections have people that are really the decision makers that have never come out for office, but they're the ones that bankroll, like she said, or sponsor everything that you've ever had as an aspiration when you're looking for political office. And these people exist. That's why people have mentioned it many times, that they're the actual gatekeepers of the world and the owners of Nigeria. So godfatherism, you tend to know those of them that come out and say, okay, I'm a member of this party. But there are people that have not joined any party at all, and they control who gets to sit in office in Nigeria.
You have an idea, babe.
Yeah,
you do.
They decide who gets to sit in office in Nigeria, and there's really nothing they can do. Like in America, they have an electoral college, where even after you voted and things seem to be looking a bit funny, it's the college that decides who will be the eventual president. So at times you wonder if you could decide, why did we bother running an elections in the first place? And then again, when they say about Peter Obi, oh, he would need 30 billion, he would need 30 billion. Everybody probably needs it for a presidential election. It's not just him.
Peter Obi.
The reason why they mentioned his name is probably because he said he's not going to give out any money. He's not trying to oil anybody's palms in trying to get anybody to vote for him. This is where it would have been really beautiful if Nigerian youths that have been shouting, being obedient, come out
really
in masses and tell you
obedient.
that without money being given to them, like they did in Osun State over the weekend, people were saying that they gave us money, but we still voted who we wanted to vote. Do you understand? And I'm sure
but why did they take the money?
You handed it out. Why did they take the money? I asked you a question now. You said it's not the topic of today. You remember?
You know, for one thing is, if you would take money for an election and you violate the contracts, you have
What contract, please?
Okay,
you have an agreement. See, it doesn't matter whether what you're doing it for is right or wrong. There's an understanding. I'm paying you for transaction. You're supposed to give me your vote and you take money. If you know you have integrity, the right thing to do is to say, my vote is not for sale.
It's not
and you vote with a conscience. When you take people's money and you do not do what you're supposed to do, you violated the law.
I find it funny that she's expecting honor among thieves.
That's where I was going. You were talking to me to tell me to be loyal to someone
who is
not loyal to me.
That is not even right.
Now, you believe, whatever made you believe that the person you're voting for is loyal to you. You've not even seen this person. Every one of us is making an assumption based on popular opinion. A lot of time, people don't even have a mind of their own. They ride on the public opinion, and they are swayed by public opinion into thinking that the person that they give their support to is the right candidate. Do not forget that media undertone is largely responsible for many of the preferred candidates that we see on the social media space.
Okay.
Many of us do not actually have a direct opportunity to test their character or their quality or their competence.
Based on experience.
Based on their experience.
Yes.
Okay. So you cannot then come and tell me that we should be obedient because Peter Obi appears to be all of that. But an Ashiwaju is a godfather and as such is disqualified. These are just bare speculations.
You can
for me,
a
lot of the time, we do not get actively involved in politics to be adequately informed. So our emotions are our decisions are quite emotional. We do not have substantiated evidence to support why we think. If you're not in politics, you're sitting on the fence, and you think what you pick up the social media is largely responsible enough to make a decision, trust me, we will continue to reinvent the wheel of the same thing we've been going through without any significant improvement or development. And at the end of the day,
Let me hear
the
Norma.
people we think are not supposed to be in power, they understand this game, and they will play to our ignorance and take advantage of our foolishness. And this is what we continue to experience time and time again. So let's get emotions out of the way and say, what do we need to do differently? The level of thinking that has brought us this far has created some problem that this level of thinking cannot solve. That's Albert Einstein. We cannot continue to do the same thing. I will take your money, I will not vote for you. After all, it's my national treasure. Excuse me, you have violated a law. My position.
Please, can I ask a question again? When you know you are giving out money that you are not even supposed to, please let me finish. When you're giving out money that you are not supposed to, trying to get votes, and then you are getting upset, you're already doing something that is not proper.
Okay.
That lacks integrity.
Okay.
And then you're getting upset that somebody is playing you at your game and thinking, oh, you think you're smart, you're trying to buy votes that are not legally yours.
Okay.
And then also you said something about getting people registered for elections and holding on to their cards until the day.
Why?
I don't
Why?
know.
But let me hear Norma's thought. Hold on.
Come on on this.
She's just like, let's hear Norma's thought on this, because you see, should elections cost that much? If you ask me, I would say no. I would say no, because I believe that there's what is called conviction. Conviction gets people
into office
to work for you selflessly without you paying for it. You see, a lot of these people think they can use their money to buy loyalty. You can never buy loyalty with money, no matter how much you spend. If I am loyal to you, I will die for you. And I don't need your money to be loyal to you. So that's what I'm asking again, Norma. Should elections cost that much?
Well, in the ideal setting of things, it shouldn't be about money. Unfortunately and rightly, elections cost all over the world. You need money to fund your movement around across states, across constituencies or whatever. You need a team of people, PR, you need media, you need all of these things. And the truth of it is that they will cost money. If it's a day-to-day, it's like your daily job for a certain period of time. So if you check all of these things, even in America, if you go and do your research, statistics, you will see the amount of money that is being used to fund election periods and all. So the ideal thing, like you rightly said, Milola, is that it is not supposed to be your responsibility. Crowdfunding, because people, conviction, like you were saying, make people to believe in your mandate and sponsor your mandate. So also maybe those who are even the main sponsors, you know, like the people that we probably call godfathers here and all. So yes, money is needed. How much is relative, depending on economy, depending on the climes, depending on the terrain. In Nigeria, it will probably cost because of the Naira devaluation and all of the corruption that is going on here. I saw a tweet about people who were talking about gathering funds. People said, in fact, there was one tweet that said that somebody was saying, I have actually saved my personal so and so amount of money to support. We're just waiting to get the account details or where a credible means of transfer to make sure that we help to get this person into office, just because they believe in your mandate or they're convinced about what you represent. So is the question being, does P2B need 35 billion? With the breakdown, interestingly, the young man broke it down to assuming that you're going to be paying 10,000 naira to each of the polling. Now, if you have, and that's where
booths, yeah.
the social media representatives need to be on ground to help. If you believe in a particular candidate, then you must be able to show up for them. If you can't show up with your money, then you'll be able to show up with your time, with your efforts, you're being available, you're being present to be able to help secure those votes or to make sure that they count at the end of the day. So this is money that if you break it down in different ways, whether by ratio of time or it will even
translate
to much more
money
than that.
Also, so that's where the conversation, I think I need us to drive it to, right? Because the reason, of course, Peter Obi seems to be the sensation around right now on social media, everybody, I'm obedient and obedient and obedient, is because for the first time, I think, in a long time in our elections,
believe in someone.
People believe in one person, and they believe that, okay, this person can actually
deliver.
Take delivery of this country and transform the country. That is the credibility, right, that he has. We shouldn't throw that away and just all of a sudden stupidly feel like it is money that got him there. It wasn't money that got him that integrity capital. You see, there's integrity capital that he has.
I don't think that is what.
No, I'm saying no, because again, I have heard in different quarters, everybody keeps on saying, "I beg you," you know, it cannot work. People should not underestimate the power of, you know, a candidate that has the what's it called, the integrity deposit in the minds of many people, right? That is what he has, and if somebody has that, should we now start to bring up money? I get that breakdown. But and I say that, sorry, 1 minute. I say that for that breakdown, yes, it makes a lot of sense. Because if you are calculating 150,000 party agents, right, across all the 36 states, including Federal Capital Territory, you would understand that, yes, these party agents, they require a lot of things. But again, I have seen a time in this country where people actually invested their own, because now technology has made life easy. We don't even need, there's electronic transmission of results. So many things are going on that might seem to make all of those skewedness that would happen in the past, it would be a bit more transparent. But hey, who am I?
Can I just quickly interject there? You see, for me, I saw from that video, I saw a concern or a drawing attention to a particular area of concern that these other parties seemingly, and you know, it has been their argument over time, they have structure, they already have people in place, and this is a new party coming up. Do you have the structure in that capacity? Do you have people representing you across the 36 states in the country? Are they able to stand the pressures of being present while the elections are going on? And if these people were if these people, not just based on conviction, but if they were to withstand the pressures as well of maybe people trying to buy them over right there in the elections, do you have the ability to sustain their conviction power?
You're talking about.
Okay, so let's go on a very short break, because we'd like to also open our phone lines to hear, you know, the thoughts, what the viewers are saying about this. But we'll take a break. Stay with us. So if you just tuned in, it's our ladies' night out, and we're discussing the topic: does Peter Obi need 35 billion, right, to win the 2023 elections, based on what Isaac Fayose had mentioned? I mean, he broke it down, and that was a genuine concern, in all fairness, according to what Norma had just, said. Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. You can also tweet at us at WayShowAfrica1 with the hashtag WayShow. Our phone line is now open. Please, if your TV is on, we'll cut your call off. So please turn off the volume of your television set so we can hear ourselves. And the number to call is 07025007749. All right, so democracy everywhere in the world is expensive. No doubt about it, right? But I also believe that if you're able to muster foot soldiers, it makes your own, your own journey a lot easier. right? It's not like you will not spend money, but it will just make your journey easy.
Be about the money.
Yes, it will no longer be about the money. It will just be about making sure that there's a proper monitoring process, and that's why some of these party agents are actually hired in the first place. It's just to monitor, to say that Milola, I counted her votes at Waterside and it was 50,000 votes. So somebody will not report as something else. But we are not putting into consideration the fact that there is a new law, that the electoral law that the president has signed. Do you understand? So maybe Isaac Fayose is talking based on the way we used to run elections. There's a new system now, right? But let me take our first caller for the evening, then I'll come to you, Milola. You've been itching to talk. Loma, you're live.
Please, let's hear from Loma.
Loma, you're live.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, my name is this is from Abia State. See, God will richly bless you people for bringing out this topic at this time. By this time, most people will embarrass you with favor.
Amen. Amen. Isn't that God will embarrass us with favor?
Now, I want to let you know, P2B of this present distribution doesn't need 35 billion to win election. I'm telling you, because the man has already set the pace for himself when he was Anambra State governor. He left a good sum of money in Anambra State government before he left. So now, because of what he did in the past, people now see him as a messiah in this particular in 2023. So I am one of the people in Abia State saying that P2B is moving with a strong form. Richard Comfort, and he doesn't need any 35 billion. What only we need, we ourselves will volunteer ourselves in a little way and make sure we go there. And I know our brother up north will do the same thing, because a man of integrity has come on board. But those winning will be there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Loman.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
I like very well how we're looking at this very passionately, but emotionally. If I wasn't, if I never partook in politics, I would be on the same fence and I'll share the same sentiments as we do here. It is one thing to have theoretical knowledge; it's another thing to have practical experience.
Knowledge, yes.
One thing you spot on very quickly was the fact that it was bringing our attention to what we are not seeing, which we should be paying attention to. And there was one word you used very strongly, and that is structure. Structure is one thing that makes elections successful or fail. The finest of candidates without a structure, trust me, you would fail woefully. Speaking from someone who went to people and poured from my belly and begged, and I thought that perhaps my plea would fall on the ears of women.
No, but Milola, there are two different things.
Babe, we're talking about successful election. We're not talking about passionate or sincere, integrity-driven candidates being able to win an election without money. You cannot.
Okay.
You cannot win an election
without.
You know, you talk sometimes.
Sorry, let me take a caller. Sorry, it's been holding up. Sorry, sorry. You go on. Youngest old man, you're live.
He's always coming online. Thank you for calling.
Hi.
How are you?
We're good.
How are you watching our season film? I hope the events, on daily basis, we see one or two things that help us clap. Like the unknown bishops and the unknown reverends and so on.
Abio.
The thing there, it is sweet. But thank God, God is doing things that makes us understand how inferior some things are. You know what I mean? Do you know my biggest pain in all this charade? How bishop go pour so no iron in clothes. Go that kind of occasion. That's why I pay me pass. Some of the clothes there, they don't even iron now. That's by the side, Jerry. But the main thing about sponsoring and spending money for election, to me, I believe we need to give shishi, but that does not mean we will not do the needful. Yeah. For example, like fueling your campaign train, all these things, they cost money. You got to buy the DJ, you have to pay, even the DJ is going to give you discounts, that doesn't mean you're not going to eat, all these things, they cost money. But I don't really think on a normal day, if others spend 35 million, that our honorable president to be Mr. Peter Obi will spend 35 billion. No, he might get it easier and cheaper because some people would like to do their things freely. Like for me, if it costs me anytime, any day, if I'm available, I'll come for him and offer what I know I can do best freely, especially making sure that there is no fake men of God in the house with on iron clothes and on no
Okay, youngest old man. All right, thank you, Minola. Sorry, let her quickly wrap up her
He
thoughts.
said I would happily come and help him if I'm available. It goes back to that conversation. Can people put their mouth where their conviction is?
Yes.
Can they put their effort where their conviction is? You, my dear friend, Uwa, how much did you put as convicted as you were as a friend? Trust me, we're not trying to say that corruption is the order of the day, because it is. Let's not be sentimental. Let's look at the facts. Let's see how we can fix it. But let's not take away the fact that the reality is the reality. But Obi continues to preach, I'm not going to pay anybody, I'm not going to... I thought I would get a vote by speaking from the belly and begging women and men. And sincerely, that moment when I spoke with them, I saw that they were convinced. But motivation is like having a warm bath. It eventually runs cold. Hours after you have left their purview, your space, they go back into, when the reality of their life hits, you would say that I would give you my vote, I would give you my support. When you just oppose it with your needs, it's only a man that is full that can be content with.
Okay, I'll answer you, but let me take Joseph from Calabar.
We have another caller. Please.
Go ahead, you're live.
Good evening, y'all.
Hi, good evening.
For the record, structure or no structure, we stand obedience. The truth to remain that building the structure starts from the mindset. As the scripture says, who wants to build a house and who sit down to plan? We have sat down our plan. And we, the youth of this country, we are so tired that we have built enough structure in our heart to tackle any event that may want to come. Whether APC or PDP have gotten their structure, that's not our problem. The youth of this country, we have enough structure. We're ready to take down anybody, any party that want to bring down will be up there.
Thank you.
And we are ready to face the consequence, whatever thing comes our way. For me, I am ready for Obi. I will don't preach for Obi, and I will vote for Obi. There must be a change in this country. There must be a change for the generation of this country, because if we do not do it now, nobody else will. The money that is needed will come when the time comes. The money is not the problem. Obi is bigger than 35 billion, whatever thing that is there. But all I know is that we'll vote for Obi, and Obi will win.
Thank you.
By the grace of God. Thank you.
Thank you.
The expenses of any campaign should really be logistics, material, welfare. You know, that should be what a campaign is all about. Just moving around, showing your billboards. But we found many times that you need to sway people on your side. And at times it's not even about poverty. It's about interests in business. Who controls the oil? Who controls the commodities? Who controls the borders? When you see that if I have this government in power today, they will not be favorable to my business. At times it affects
your decision.
Elections. Do you understand? People will be like, oh, by the time this one comes in, they're going to bring up policies or bills that is going to push me out of business. And so they start working against you.
The way Nigeria is so corrupt now, nobody will want to have the idea of a stingy man. Do you understand? Because the corruption favors their businesses.
It does.
So you would see that even outside of the people that you think are the real sponsors of campaign money, it is not those ones that are really sponsoring. They are, like you rightly said at the beginning, they are quiet there in their businesses, just pumping money into elections. Do you understand? So if he's also able to get the buy-in of those people, you know, it will go a long way, because whether we like it or not, money is needed. But let's take some comments. On YouTube, someone says, what have those three men done to benefit the masses? Everything they did was for themselves. With all going on in Nigeria, have they or are they speaking out? I hope my Nigeria people would choose wisely. Ms. M. Jones, that was from Edwards. M. Jones says, to me, none of the lead candidates are not trustworthy. Article Peter Obi and Tinubu. I don't understand that. Oge from Abuja, I believe. Thank you for calling.
Okay, yes, thank you very much.
Go ahead.
Okay, so it may be true that, 35 billion naira may be needed to fund a presidential election. But the truth is the nature of hardship that people are going through. I don't think anybody is ready to collect money from anybody and then ground both otherwise. Because the hardship is so real that even that money you're holding, when you get to the market, what you projected, you may end up buying, much lesser. I don't even understand. People are not voting for anything but structure. They are voting for system. They are voting for stability, to have a sense of direction, to have hope. Do you understand? Because yes, after you get the money, then next. I remember when I was in Kogi State, I was fortunate to be in one of the election camps and all of that. I practically saw them giving elderly women 2,000 naira or 1,000 naira just to vote. But now this is our wise, because they know that when they collect this money and they go to the market, what you bought for a certain price, the thing is hiking up. Nobody wants to keep living like that. So yes, 35 billion may be needed, but the pressure that people are going through right now, they may collect that money and still go ahead and vote who gives them stability. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What I hear they say is that they are supposed to increase the money because the hardship in the economy is so much. So that previous amount that they used to give is not enough. So they should think about hopping the game. But does she talk about money?
No, that's not what she said. That's not what she said. What Oge said, that's being sarcastic.
We know there's an unspoken rule about money must change hands for politics to happen in this Nigeria, regardless of who it is. The point I think they were trying to make is, as much as we all speak about Peter Obi's forthrightness, apparent forthrightness, and that he seems to be someone of integrity that we can trust to work on, for the very first time, a non-corrupt government. You know how it is when you have contracts and they have to be padded without anybody saying anything. You don't say it out. But when you bring it and you just want your amounts to be approved, the person that is supposed to pass it over to the person to approve it will stop it at that desk, knowing fully well that you haven't put into consideration their own part of it.
Let me take Stokwe. From Kogi State.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Well done. Thanks for me. I think we are much in the era that every bit of fear about who will be our president should not come. You see, the greatest weapon of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. The issue of 30 billion or 35 billion, whatever, is not the issue. Wherever there is a will, there will be a way. There have never been anybody that has ever been a president of this nation that is a number slavery. At the rightful time, the way and things of prosecuting that project come up. I don't think at this point in time the mind of the oppressed will be sorted. When there is a will, there will always be a way. So the issue of money will not be the problem at the appropriate time. We are in the era that we want our socio-political starvation to be gotten rid of. We are in the era that we want to put an end to socio-political squalor in this country. We are in the era that we want to put an end to that and desolate state that we are. So it is not the issue of the mind, it is not the issue of money. People are rising up against the trend that is on ground now. And concertedly, I believe we will all get to the promised land.
Thank you.
Okay, so Milola, thank you. On YouTube, they are accusing you of being a Tinubu person, that we should stop you from talking. But hey, let's take comments, then I'll give Milola an opportunity to
I would be okay
to respond to them.
You see, For one thing is, if I, like I always say, it would be okay for people to consider me biased. But if there's anything I should bring to this conversation, it's some balance.
Absolutely.
And to take sentiment out of the question so that we can have a bit of a different perspective
Like
to the
insider knowledge
conversation.
at least.
No, we don't even need to have you any other way, because the truth is somebody needs to wake us up to our reality.
Yeah,
And I think that
they
was
are
what
sleeping.
yes, that was what Isaac Fayoshe is trying to do. That people are shouting obedient, obedient, obedient.
Do you
know
know
the
the
cost
cost of running
implication?
presidential election?
Yeah, let's take
I
our
have
comments
a
quickly.
comment. It says, "Good evening, my dear beautiful sisters. So what are you saying? The question is, does Peter Obi needs 35 billion naira to win the 2023 election? Sister Owa made mention that the amount mentioned is on the high side and ridiculous. Honorable Mindola said, when it comes to election, it is possible that that amount is spent and even more. If Peter Obi is really desperate and he has everyone at heart and he wants to create a change, then he has no choice than to spend that amount. A desperate person can go to any length to spend any amount to achieve his or her dreams." Sister Lydie and Honorable Milola, you're welcome. We miss you. My name is Daniel Ilo. Thank you, Daniel Ilo.
I wanted to say, from that comment that you just read out now, it seems like something, it might seem emotional or sentimental, but truly, if you're a father and you're trying to give the best to your children, and they tell you that you need to buy, for instance, the people that were trying to get a kidney by all means necessary for the health of a child, would you not do it? So people, I think, from that statement, it seems as if, Peter Obi, if you're really concerned about Nigerians and you think you can really make a difference, why don't you do all it takes to get into power? First of all, forget the fact that, oh, this is not about, it's the way things
Actually, I said it before, somebody, but let me take question. Let me take comment. Let's take comment. Everywhere in the world, democracy is expensive, and election is very expensive too. But unfortunately, in this part of the world, people think that those who are contesting or running for office of the presidency should fund his or elections. But in other places of the world where democracy is working, those running for office run through their political parties, and their political parties always take the responsibility of funding the election. Even if people are contributing money to fund the individual running for an office, they do not, they do it through the party, the political party of the candidate. The crowdfunding money does not belong to the candidate running for the office, because at the end of the day, whatever is spent must be accountable, and whatever is left will be left in the account of the party platform of the candidate running for the office. And that is why now you see why the APC put their form money at 100 million, while others were doing 40 million, 30 million. Because they understand
how
this,
much it costs.
Yes, they understand this statement. You understand? It is the party that actually is supposed to fund it. But let's take more comments and we'll wrap up.
I have this comment. It says, well, the person didn't put their name. It says, "Evening, ladies. Please tell Milola that people giving money don't have integrity, and it is better to collect the money because they have much to play around with and still vote their candidate. You don't need to pay me to vote your candidate." Well, that's the opinion. I don't necessarily agree. Then the other one says, "Good evening, ladies. Since Funke announced as deputy governorship aspirant, a lot of people have been talking about her marital status. This has generated a lot of argument because she's female. Most male politicians, I'm not sure this has to..."
I think that was last week.
I think this was
Go ahead.
yes.
Nadia, your comment.
Someone said, "God bless great sisters at ways. Peter Obi is an exceptional person. He is unique. He is not extravagant. He manages resources. The problem is, can the people in power, can they allow him? Niger is run by certain cabals. May Jehovah bless you ladies at ways, but we should not Obi." I think she says we should vote Obi or whatever. The point everybody is making is that it is how the game is run. Do you want to be a part of it? Because you're not going to change it. As much as you want an ideal situation, we can't change it. Even in America today, it's still being
But let me
done.
take this comment from YouTube. I think from M. Jones. It says, I like the comment. It says, "If Peter Obi wants to turn Niger around, he needs to be innovative and creative in campaigning. This will show how he will be able to prioritize when budgeting to reduce debt in the country. So, and that's why I say, Norma will say she disagrees with that statement that you made. Because if you do the things the way others are doing it, we will not expect anything different.
I think that is already what has distinguished him so far. That more and more people are jumping on that I call it bandwagon, to say that we see, because he has so far shown some level of integrity that people are beginning to pay attention to. Don't forget that a few months ago, a few weeks ago, people were not this passionate about him. But more and more people every day, the more attention he's creating because of the standards that he has chosen to stand for. So that can be in his favor if these same people on social media platforms can actually come out to do the work. Because if money alone is not enough to help him in this, then he needs more than that, and that's where creativity comes in. Absolutely. And that's where the human resource comes in as well.
You have a minute.
Just to wrap, we talk as if one man can change a country.
No, he cannot.
I was going to piggyback from what that person said in terms of have a structure or a style. The kind of government and the type of result that Peter Obi can generate is not this space of few months to election that will produce that result. No. It goes to say that we cannot fix the problem in the space of time just because. And I think a bunch of us like to project our problem. We think Peter Obi is the savior. A number of Nigerians would not do the needful. They pay lip service. It's just like the Bible says, your mouth speaks, but your heart is far away from me. When it is time to put boots to ground and go out and support Peter Obi and take their widow's mite and contribute to his campaign, we can make Peter Obi president.
Yes.
If we can do the work, but we speak about it, we make comment about it. Some of us even sit in comment section and read other people's comments. We do not that. And that's why I would always bring a balance to our argument and say the reality of our life and our system is more complicated than what we speak here. And the only reason why I can have a bit of a different angle is because I have stepped into the terrain of politics and I have seen things that staggered me, that make me say, Milola, are you sure you want to continue? A friend of mine was talking to me and said, Milola, that thing, if you get into it, you can't come out on the other side. Politics is more complex than conversation pieces.
But will you go again, knowing what you know?
If you say that you got exposed to something and you're afraid, why then did you start in the first place? You don't chicken out because of challenges.
On that note, thank you so much, ladies. We had an amazing conversation. Now,
before we go,
we ran out of time. Thank you, ladies. Ensure you follow us on Instagrams at PlusTvAfrica. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and more importantly, follow all our engagements on social media. Like, share, and invite your families and friends to watch and follow the conversation. Now, if you missed today's quarter, here it is again. Democracy is based upon conviction. There are extraordinary possibilities in ordinary people. I think this, caps it up, right? The extraordinary that we desire can actually happen, but it takes a lot of conviction and putting boots to ground. I like that. Milola said. We'll see you guys at 8 p.m. tomorrow as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.
Good night, everybody.